Hello and welcome to my year in review for 2025. In January of this year, I did something I promised I would never do. I went back to grad school to pursue my doctorate through the University of West Georgia. I'm enrolled in a program called Georgia's Best through my school system. A lot has changed in the 12 years since I graduated with my last degree from Georgia State. And there was a big learning curve, but I feel like I've caught up now. I hated the first course about leadership. It's just not my jam. I'm not interested in being a principal, but I was able to develop a focus on what I want to look into and pursue with further research, which is equity in music education. I would like to advance issues like mandated minutes spent in music and fine arts courses, teacher training, teacher compensation for after hours requirements and extra endeavors, and ensemble opportunities for children. There's a lot of disparity across my district and across the state and country for sure. I was honored to be Teacher of the Year for the school year 2024 through 2025. And in January, my mom's best friend Sandra died unexpectedly. And I spoke with my mom about that the day she heard the news, and it was a big blow to her. February of 2025 featured a Teacher of the Year and Classified Employee of the Year brunch. And my chorus from Garrison Mill was honored to be asked to perform, which was really special to me because I was there with my principal and PTA moms, with all of the other schools' representatives. So there was field trip hilarity. I was obviously busy at the brunch, and so my precious, devoted coworkers were in charge of getting all. I think I had 99 kids in chorus last year. Getting all those kids on two school buses to ride over to meet me at the event where they could perform for everyone. Well, one thing after another happened. Of course, the buses were late, and when they arrived, one driver had to use the restroom. So they all had to wait while he went inside to pee. When you've got to go, right? And then the drivers took the long scenic route to get to the church where the brunch was. The fourth graders' bus windows would not stay shut. You would pull up a window to latch it to close it, and a few minutes later, it would slam open with a loud bang. Oh, and it was raining, so the windows are going down and won't stay up. And it was pouring down rain that day. The kids and the field trip chaperones were wet. They were hungry. We performed a brief show, but the kids were okay later. They got snacks, and the Lassiter dance team entertained them. And it ended up being a beautiful day that was very meaningful to me. I was supremely honored. Later in February and January, I went through training to serve as a deacon at my church. I had a colonoscopy, and I helped organize the school talent show with Miss Smith and my fearless art teacher friend Becca. Just another adventure. I don't remember a lot about March of this year. I know I was suffering with restless arms, and it was really affecting my sleep. And I saw a neurologist, which was kind of a bust. But yeah, I started to get down. I know that. Just it was the tail end of winter, and my mood was not great. In April, I was really not feeling great. Just down, pretty blue. And my friend Tammy, that I sang with in high school, had posted these pictures of this little puppy who needed a home. I had followed his story with her and seen his baby pictures all since January. And so I adopted Broody. He was a little boy puppy that nobody wanted. And that little face was working on me. And I know what it's like when nobody wants you. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. And so I arranged for my dad to pick him up in Birmingham. And Broody rode in Daddy's lap in the truck to meet me at the Georgia state line. I'm so, so glad he came to be mine. He is just super fun and so sweet. And all Broody has known is a loving home with his pack. He's never worn a collar, he's never slept in a crate. In fact, he's never slept a night alone without a person to snuggle with. I know I'm creating a monster, but he's just had a sweet life, and I'm so happy that we can give that to him here at my house. So at one point, I was supposed to go to dinner with Matthew, but I just couldn't pull it together. I barely got dressed. I was just crummy. And instead, we ate at Waffle House. I was just sad, and he was so kind to me. He later sent me that precious song by Peter Gabriel with Kate Bush, "Don't Give Up," and I'll never forget that. Just meant a lot to me. In May of this year, I stopped coloring my hair. I don't know that I even really intentionally thought it through or planned it. I just quit coloring it. I attended a parent conference that I remember very well. Every time I sit in on one of these, I am just amazed, just inspired and amazed by the miracles that the special ed teachers I have known help these kids to accomplish. You know, if the school and the family can ever really work hand in hand and get on the same page and back each other up, a kid has little chance of going down the wrong path. It's great when that works that way. I went hiking in North Carolina. I continued to be very sad. It's just kind of a dreary end to the month, although hiking was really nice and fun. In June, I went to the beach with my good friend Becca and her precious daughter Micah. We stayed at a family's member's house in Panama City, and it was such a beautiful beach. I had forgotten how pretty Panama City really is, and I just slept a lot, ate a lot, rested a lot. It was wonderful. I was in school. I had to do some stuff for my courses, but it was manageable since I wasn't teaching. I was very relaxed, and things started to look up. I delivered most summer lunches with some ladies from my church, and I got to know some people that I don't really come into contact with much since I'm always in the choir. My Greyhound chorus from Garrison Mills sang the national anthem at the Braves game on Father's Day, and Daddy came. It was hard. We'll know more what to expect next time, but I am so proud of those kids. It was a wonderful experience, and we get to do it again this year. So, really pleased about that. I taught some music classes at Bible school at a Buckhead church, and I had a good time doing that. So, June, things started turning around and getting better. In July, Broody Tootie had his neuter and he recovered. He was a mess, but precious little guy. Had to get it done. For my course, I wrote about critical theory and read really interesting stuff about frameworks of how to look at education and influences that have led us to our current state. And I just really loved reading all that stuff. Found it very interesting, and I really like reading about policy and legislation and the history of education, the philosophy and purpose of education, so stuff like that. I got to go to special camp for a few days, which was just a gift. I had a wonderful, wonderful experience. I taught some music classes with the youth campers. I saw friends that I've had for decades. I was just very happy and thankful. July was great. You can see my dad there in my classroom. He helped me go pick up that lamp in East Atlanta. Isn't it cute? And then there are just some really pretty pictures. I mean, flowers. There's a picture of really pretty flowers from my church. That's what I'm trying to say. In the month of August, back in school, and I began directing my church choir more regularly. I'm so much better, at least I think I am, than when I directed as the interim director of music back in 2014. And I also enjoy it so much more now. I got to lead a Mendelssohn piece with Jeffrey on piano in the historic sanctuary, and it was a sublime experience. Just a gift. At the end of July into August, I had a divine revelation. More on that later, but my whole life changed in an instant. I just, um, it was profound. In August, Daddy had an AFib episode while he was visiting church members in the hospital at Grandview in Birmingham. And when I went to Birmingham a few days later to check on him, I called Martha and we went to breakfast. I just called her out of the blue, um, impulsively. And I knew she couldn't resist because she loves going out for breakfast. I had not seen her in about 3 years. So we had breakfast. She wouldn't let me take a picture of us, but that was nice. In September, my dad was diagnosed with stomach cancer, which had caused his AFib episode in August, the month before. So I worked with Martha, my mom, to get him to all of his appointments in Birmingham. I sang His Eye is on the Sparrow at a funeral on my birthday, but I enjoyed doing that and witnessing that family's love for their departed dad. Daddy and I went to the beach over fall break. We came back early to meet with his surgeon so that I could be present and hear what the surgeon said. My mom had a birthday that day or the next day that we came back, and I had hoped to see her, but that didn't work out. My feelings were crushed. But I had gotten to see her, the month before. I also attended the field trip my fifth graders went to hear the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra at the Cobb Energy Center. It's a beautiful venue. I wore a pretty dress and got to see Natalie Stutzman, who is only the second female lead conductor of a major American orchestra. There's some pictures of us on the bus, and in the hallway before we left. Whew, October 2025 was a humdinger. Daddy continued to go to appointments for diagnosis and prep for his surgery, which was October 8th at University Hospital in Birmingham. After that, he stayed in the hospital for a few nights, and then he came home with me to recover at my house in Marietta for a week. I took him back to his home in Birmingham on Saturday, October 18th. I invited Martha over to my house for Thanksgiving. She hadn't been to my house in over 3 years. And she accepted and was really excited. We were making plans for that. I know she was looking forward to coming over. We had it all worked out. Daddy was going to bring her. And on Thursday, October 23rd, however, my mom had a stroke. And she was able to get to her neighbor Margaret's house. She was even able to tell Margaret Daddy's phone number. They don't save things in their phone like we young folk do. But anyway, Margaret was able to call Daddy, and she called 911. The ambulance came and took Mama to UAB hospital. Um, I flew down I-20 that afternoon to be with her. My dad was with her the whole time, but by the time I made it to her, she was not conscious. Um, my dad and I sat with her for hours. He was still recovering from his surgery, just a few days before, and he would not go home to rest. He didn't look so hot, and so we made a deal that if I would go home to rest, he would go home to rest. So he went back to his home, and I went to Martha's house, and I slept in her bed with her dogs. Um, and the next day, my mom died um, on the morning of Friday, October 24th. So I brought her dogs and Daddy home with me on Saturday, October 25th. And that is how I came to have 5 dogs. Ooh, October was rough. In November, just a few days after my mom died, I saw a hand specialist who diagnosed me with carpal tunnel, no shock there. I was very disappointed in the doctor I saw. I know he was young, but he had no bedside manner and was even offensive. Um, so, next. My fourth graders put on a Veterans Appreciation performance that was wonderful, and it involved the whole school. It was great. I was so proud of the whole grade level, teachers and kids. They did a great job and had a big impact on their community by doing that. I continue to direct the church choir more regularly, and I keep growing and learning from it. Matthew came to stay for Thanksgiving for a few days with Daddy and me. We served and ate lunch at church with friends from the food pantry line, people who come through our church in a car line to receive groceries from the Atlantic Food Bank and other organizations. We served and ate lunch at church with a charming mom and daughter. We had a really nice time doing that. Would love to do it again. And there's a picture of me with Jeffrey in his kilt on Kirkin of the Tartan Day, Sunday. Well, December's not quite over, but to sum it up so far, I got to direct the work of Christmas at church for a Sunday in Advent. I was assigned to my capstone group, which is kind of like my dissertation group, except you are assigned a topic and other students to work with. I am so happy I was put with 2 other music educators. I'm very motivated by the work we plan to do over the next year. I'm realizing there will be no more breaks, and it's going to be hard. Like from now on, the process just doesn't stop. My chorus performed, and we had our school sing along. It was super fun. I went a little crazy with the holiday costumes. You know how elementary teachers are. And during the family show, the crowd performed a finger ballet to the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. So fun. I was struck by an impulse to walk through the crowd in my Mrs. Claus costume and give every small child a little finger light. I had exactly the right number of lights for every little kid to get one. It was so cute. Really fun. We finally made it to winter break yesterday. I continue to work online with my capstone group. I have a meeting on Monday morning with them, and I'll sing with the choir and lead singing at the family service at church on Christmas Eve. Daddy will be here, and Matthew is coming back again. I'm so grateful for both of them. Daddy's final sermon at Trinity United Methodist Church in Homewood will be Sunday, December 28th, so I'll drive over for that. Bo has an echocardiogram scheduled for the 29th. He's still hanging in there. It's a trip living with these 5 dogs. It's a lot to take care of. But Daddy is moving in to live with me here in Marietta. We're working on making that happen, um, hopefully in January. It's a dream come true for me. So, Happy New Year early, everybody. I'm so grateful for the lessons and love that I've received in 2025. It was for sure a hard year, but I continue to be deeply, deeply grateful for every experience and lesson and relationship that has brought me to the peace that passes understanding. That's what happened to me at the end of July into early August. Um, I don't know how to explain it other than the peace that passes understanding descended on me like a dove. And it was a very literal experience and change. I've never felt this way before, but I know now that every moment is a gift. I couldn't I couldn't get it before. I was very hurt and cynical. I lived in pain, like a walking, talking bruise. But I see now that all things do indeed work together for good. And our part in creation is actually profoundly simple. It's all about love. I realize that all religion is the same. We're all just knocking at the door to comprehending the grand design. We get there by different ways, but sometimes it's kind of funny to me how complicated we make things when the purpose and point of everything, all of it, is to love. I also know that giving until it feels like receiving is how true happiness is achieved. And giving, even if you can't give from love, keep doing it and you'll get there. That's what I have come to know. I came to these realizations through true and repeated forgiveness, like daily, sometimes hourly forgiveness, and meditative prayer, and also walking my dogs early in the morning. Isn't that funny? I don't believe life and death are just as absolute as I always have. I know they're definitely closer together than I ever thought. There is no beginning, there is no end. Each of us serves as part of the whole. I've never been more sure of my faith in the goodness of God and in knowing that I personally, as well as each of us, we are precious and perfectly loved beyond any human measure by our Creator. I never got that we love because He first loved us verse. It makes so much sense to me now. Loving and forgiving is what we are called to do, not as a burden to overcome, but as a further development and a constant unfolding of the love of God, of knowing and feeling and living that perfect love because He first loved us. I'm starting to really understand that. And what it means to me now is happy, loved, forgiven people want other people to have happiness, love, and forgiveness too. And this is the joy of our salvation. We are all connected. We are all born to live in harmony together. And I see now that all things do indeed work together for good, and our part in creation is just completely simple. I wish my brother, Patrick, and my mom could have felt this, but I believe they are together and utterly complete and happy, sharing a bag of pork skins and cracking each other up. Here's to 2026. Goodbye, 25.